Plant Lord, starting with 10,000 times increase. Chapter 1, Awakening, Plant Lord. Translator, Henai Translations. Editor, Henai Translations, Heavenly Hub Lord Academy. At this moment, the students in the square were waiting in line. A teacher stepped forward and waved his hand. The 109th Awakening Ceremony of Heavenly Hub Lord Academy has begun. Student Zhao Wuji, please come on stage. As the instructor spoke, everyone in the square began to discuss. In a corner of the square, someone asked, Lin Sen, what kind of a lordship ability do you think Zhao Wuji will awaken? The person who was questioned was Lin Senator. He looked up at Zhao Wuji, who had stepped into the awakening magic formation in the middle of the square, and answered his classmate beside him with a matter-of-fact expression. He's from a martial arts family. The one he awakened is most likely a martial arts lord. Just as Lin Sen finished speaking, the instructor spoke. Zhao Wuji, awakened combat-type martial lord. For a moment, all the students cheered for him. At this moment, the student next to Lin Sen looked at him in surprise. Old Lin, you're amazing. You guessed it correctly. By the way, guess what kind of ability you will awaken. What kind of lord will you become? His classmates' words made Lin Sen's thoughts drift to the distant horizon. What kind of ability would he awaken? What kind of lord would he become? Lin Sen recalled everything about himself. It had been 18 years since he transmigrated to this world where everyone was a lord. In this special world, when everyone reached adulthood at the age of 18, their Danshan would nurture a lord and awaken special abilities. The awakened abilities were divided into two types, combat and support. As the name suggested, the combat types were suitable for combat, such as martial lords and elemental lords. As for support types, they were not suitable for direct combat. For example, the Danshan world in the body of gourmet lords had become its own kitchen. The delicious food cooked could allow others to obtain various enhancement buffs. I hope it's a combat type. Lin Sen did not dare to be too sure. The student next to Lin Sen slapped him on the shoulder. You're too humble. In my opinion, there's definitely no problem with you being a combat type lord. The main thing is what kind specifically. Could it be that sword Dao Lord whose sword chi spanned 80,000 miles? Or the Inferno Lord who once burned most of the alien region of the starry sky? As they chatted, another classmate joined the conversation. What are you talking about? About what kind of ability Lin Sen would awaken? Lin Sen usually likes to help others. Perhaps he will awaken the legendary Lord of Faith. One by one, the students gathered around to discuss what kind of ability Lin Sen would awaken. After an unknown period of time, the teacher suddenly called Lin Sen's name. Lin Sen, please come on stage. For a moment, the students beside Lin Sen looked over. A student clasped his fist at Lin Senior. Good brother, your achievements are definitely not low. Another student waved at Lin Senior. Good luck, Lin Sen. Not only Lin Sen's classmates, but the students from other classes also cheered for him. From this, it could be seen that Lin Sen's interpersonal relationships were quite good. And as the person in question, Lin Sen mustered his courage and came to the stage. Nervous? Lin Sen, who had lived 2 lives, suddenly felt nervous. After all, this awakening ceremony was too important. The awakened ability was just like the college entrance examination in his previous life. It was not that if his awakened ability was bad, he would be ruined for the rest of his life. However, as long as his awakened ability was a little better, he could at least avoid taking a detour for decades. Lin Sen followed his mentor's instructions and came to the center of the formation. As the formation flickered slightly, Lin Sen could feel a strange power appearing in his body. But before Lin Sen could relish that power, his mentor's voice sounded. Lin Sen, awakened combat type plant lord. Combat type? At first, Lin Sen was excited when he heard this. Although the students boasted of various kinds, such as the Inferno Lord and the Sword Dao Lord, these were all not real. Only now did Lin Sen heave a sigh of relief when he learned that he had awakened a combat type lord. However, at this moment, the chatter from below the stage made Lin Sen realize that things were not that simple. Plant Lord. The growth cycle of plants is too slow. This is basically at the bottom among combat type lords, right? The other lords have sent their armies over. Aren't the plants nurtured by the plant lords still sprouting? Listening to the discussion below the stage, Lin Sen realized that he had missed the last sentence. Although it had awakened a combat-type lord, it was the weakest plant lord among the combat-type lords. For a moment, Lin Sen was a little disappointed. When Lin Sen returned to the stage, the students from before surrounded him. One of the students suggested, "Lin Sen, why don't you self-destruct the lord's core and nurture a new core? It's not that the plant lord's ability is bad, but it's very difficult for anyone to survive with this latent ability. Recreate a new core. Even if it's a gourmet lord who sells all kinds of delicacies with buffs, he can still do well." The student earnestly analyzed the strengths and weaknesses of the plant lord for Lin. Senator Lin Sen had a bitter look on his face. He knew this student's analysis. What the plant lord's ability needed was time. It was rumored that a plant lord had once nurtured a world tree and reconstructed the earth, water, wind, and fire in the chaotic void to create a new world. However, how many years would it take to nurture a world tree? I heard that there seems to be a magical fruit that when consumed, can reconstruct the lord's ability. However, that fruit is only a legend. We don't even know where it is sold. Even if it's sold, it'll probably be at an astronomical price. Another student patted Lin Sen's shoulder and said earnestly, feeling sorry for him, "If it really doesn't work, Lin Sen, let's open a shop together and specialize in selling all kinds of plants, such as flowers and so on. At the very least, we can earn some money." The student who made this suggestion was not joking. Instead, she told Lin Sen her plan and even thought of the name of the shop. Facing his classmates' comforting words and suggestions, Lin Sen tried his best to squeeze out a smile. "I appreciate everyone's kindness. I'll go back and think of something." Lin Sen had no intention of taking the students' suggestions at the moment. After all, although these students had good intentions, there were only a few reliable suggestions. Among them, the fruit that could reconstruct a lord's ability was only an illusory legend. Self-destructing the core to nurture a new core again was indeed a feasible path, but if he did so, it meant that Lin Sen had to start all over again from the lower levels. Lin Sen touched the key in his pocket and said goodbye to his classmates. "This might be my last hope," Lin Sen muttered to himself. The key in his pocket could open the door to the ancestral house. Lin Sen's father had once told Lin Sen that no matter what Lin Sen's awakened ability was, he had to return to the ancestral house. Perhaps there would be new discoveries in the ancestral house. However, "I have to go home first." On the way back, Lin Sen looked at the sky and sighed. "Mother is usually too tired. I'll make some food for her first before going to the ancestral house." Thinking of this, Lin Sen recalled his family in this life. Originally, it should have been a happy family in this life. However, after his father went to the battlefield of 10,000 tribes back then, there was no news of him. As for her mother, the pressure of her single-handedly raising Lin Sen was too great, so she chose to remarry in order to support Lin Sen's studies in the Lord Academy. Before the various information in his mind had dissipated, Lin Sen had unknowingly arrived in front of the house. With a creak, the door was pushed open, and the strong smell of alcohol immediately wafted over. Upon smelling this, Lin Sen guessed that the drunkard stepfather had brought his friends over to eat and drink. When Lin Sen looked toward the living room, it was just as he had guessed. A pale, malnourished-looking woman was hard at work cleaning up. The cigarette butts, wine bottles, and vegetable soup on the ground were mixed together. At the same time, a card table was placed in the middle of the living room. A few drunk men were playing cards and shouting. "Let me tell you, I'm not bragging. My teaching ability is top-notch. Do you know that under my careful guidance, our military leader in Heavenly Hub City took a liking to my son? Now, the military in Heavenly Hub City is recruiting talents. My son is in charge and is formulating a plan." A man's face was flushed red as he spoke non-stop. The other drunk men beside him echoed, "Brother Chen is awesome. Isn't your family in charge of the entire Heavenly Hub City from now on? In the future, if anyone wants to join the military, you'll have to give your son, no, give you, Brother Chen, some benefits first." The people around him were all praising him. When Lin Sen heard this, his heart was stirred. The drunkard who claimed that his son was awesome was Lin Sen's stepfather. If not for the fact that he had given birth to a good son who made a living in the Heavenly Hub military region, he would have long fallen into dire straits. Of course, if not for his background, Lin Sen's mother would not have married him. As Lin Sen recalled his stepbrother, the son of the old drunkard, the sound of something falling to the ground came from beside him. It was caused by someone who had lost his grip on the broom, which knocked against the ground. At this moment, the old drunkard who was bragging about his son to his friend suddenly looked at the woman sweeping the floor. The old drunkard realized that the woman had fallen to the ground for some reason. His eyes widened, looking a little scary. Suddenly, the old drunkard shouted, "Moro, what are you doing? Don't you know that I'm chatting with my friends? What if such a loud noise disturbs our conversation? Also, didn't I ask you to sweep the floor just now? Why haven't you cleaned up after so long? You don't want to live in this house anymore." The old drunkard's shout scared the woman so much that her originally pale face looked even paler. When Lin Sen saw this scene, anger surged in his heart. "Chen Yun, that's enough. Can't you see that my mother's health isn't good? And you're still ordering her around. Can't you sweep the floor yourself? Can't you cook? Is ordering a woman around the only thing a man could do?" Lin Sen's appearance made the nervous woman feel as if she had found her backbone. Her trembling hand that was holding the broom gradually calmed down, because her son had returned. As for Chen Yun, the old drunkard, when he saw Lin Sen's arrival, his aura decreased significantly. This was a person who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Facing an adult man like Lin Sen, he didn't dare to order him around like he did Lin Sen's mother, Moro. However, the old drunkard was still very unyielding. "What? Kid, how can you speak to your father like that? Have you forgotten who owns this house? Shouldn't you be working for me while living in my house? If you disrespect me again, I'll chase you and your mother out." Seeing that Lin Sen was about to argue with the old drunkard, Mama Lin immediately pulled Lin Sen away from the living room filled with the stench of alcohol. Here, Lin Sen did not resist. Instead, he allowed his mother to pull him along. He didn't want to make things difficult for his mother. Lin Sen clenched his fists and thought to himself, "Don't worry, mother. I'll take you away and live a better life. This day will not be far away." Lin Sen swore silently. After leaving the noisy living room, Mama Lin asked, "Sen, today is the day of your school's awakening ceremony. What kind of abilities have you awakened?" What kind of ability did he awaken? Lin Sen's expression was calm as he answered smoothly, "It's a combat type lord." Here, Lin Sen's expression was not too unnatural. He did not want his mother to notice the abnormality and pursue the bottom of it. His mother was usually too tired for this family. Lin Sen did not want her to add to his worries. Mama Lin did not ask further. When she heard Lin Sen answer that it was the combat type lord, there was a trace of sadness on her face, but she quickly squeezed out a smile. Combat type. Combat type is pretty good too. Most of those big shots now are from the combat type. Sen is going to be successful in the future. It's just that, the combat type also spends a lot of resources, Mama Lin muttered to herself. Lin Sen didn't feel good at all. Hearing his mother's words, he knew that his mother thought of his father, who had disappeared after going to the battlefield of 10,000 races. Combat types would most likely go to the battlefield of 10,000 races in the future. If Lin Sen went to the battlefield of 10,000 races, would he end up like his father? This was also why Mama Lin said that the combat type was quite good. From the perspective of her son's long-term development, Mama Lin naturally hoped that Lin Sen would be a combat type lord. However, as a mother, especially a mother who had lost her husband because of the battlefield of 10,000 races, Mother Lin hoped that Lin Sen would be a support type and that he would support in the back instead of going to the battlefield of 10,000 races himself. Lin Sen seemed to be a little disappointed when he thought of this. Mama Lin happened to see this. She thought that it was because she had mentioned in the last sentence that the combat type needed to spend more resources, causing Lin Sen to be disappointed. After all, it was indeed difficult for the current family to provide for the expenses of a combat type lord. Mama Lin realized that Lin Sen might be disappointed, so she immediately comforted him. "Senor, since you've already become the combat type lord, don't be afraid. Work hard and move forward. Tell me what resources you want. I'll think of a way for you." Lin Sen took in Mama Lin's comforting words. Although Lin Sen had already made up his mind not to ask his family for resources and increase their burden, he still had to deal with it on the surface. "Don't worry, Mom. I'll do my best. I'll let you know if I need anything," Lin Sen responded. Mama Lin nodded and continued to clean up. Lin Sen's sharp eyes noticed that one of the drawers in the room was not closed tightly. Through the gap, he could see what seemed to be a medical report from a hospital visit. As if he had thought of something, Lin Sen took a deep breath and slowly opened the drawer with trembling hands. A medical report appeared in front of him. Just as he had guessed, this was his mother's medical report. However, the high cost of treatment made her mother keep it to herself. Lin Sen quietly put the medical report back and clenched his fists. I must change the current situation of this life. Lin Sen made up his mind again. Chapter 3. To the Ancestral House Translator, Henai Translations Editor, Henai Translations. After Lin Sen found out about his mother's condition and the large amount of money needed to treat her illness, he did not show the slightest flaw in his expression. Instead, it remained the same as usual. Mom, you should rest first. Lin Sen let his mother rest while he made a simple meal. This was not for the old drunkard. The old drunkard's stepfather and friends were full and drunk. However, Lin Sen's mother had been busy until now and had yet to drink a drop of water. After Lin Sen prepared food for his mother, he found a random reason to go out. Sen, be careful when you go out, although you're an adult, don't come back too late at night. Mama Lin looked at Lin Sen's back as he walked out of the door and nagged again. What Mama Lin did not know was that Lin Sen, who had left, was quietly wiping the tears from the corners of his eyes. It was the same in his previous life. Even though he was an adult, his mother was still worried. When he went out, the other party would always remind him. And now, in this world, this mother was the same. Lin Sen gathered his thoughts and walked towards the ancestral house. The area where the ancestral house was located was half an hour away from where they were currently living. It was very remote. Looking at the overgrown area in front of him, Lin Sen sighed in his heart. Who would have thought that dozens of families used to live here? The surrounding trees were towering, and the weeds were at least half a meter tall. It was as if this area was submerged by an ocean of plants. The reason why Lin Sen and his mother left the ancestral home was partly because his mother had remarried and wanted to move into a new home. However, another reason was that the area where the ancestral house was located was no longer suitable for living. No one could explain the reason clearly. They only knew that the plants in that area were growing crazily. This is it. Lin Sen came to the vine-covered house. Crack! There was the sound of a key turning. Fortunately, the keyhole isn't broken. Lin Sen gently pushed the door open. Instantly, dust floated over. Because no one had cleaned the ancestral house for many years, a thick layer of dust had accumulated inside. Father asked me to take a look at the photos from back then. Lin Sen walked all the way to his father's room. There were spiderwebs everywhere, and there was a family photo on the table. The photo was covered in dust, but it could still be seen that there were 3 people in the photo, a man and a woman, 2 grown adults. And they were holding the child in the middle from his left and right. They were Lin Sen's parents and the young Lin Sr. What's the secret behind this photo? Lin Sen didn't know, but he picked up the photo frame and gently wiped the dust off it. I really missed that peaceful life. Lin Sen wiped the photo as he reminisced. At this moment, there was a click, as if some mechanism had been triggered. Lin Sen subconsciously looked at the photo frame. It was as if a disk had been ejected from the computer. A disk popped out from the crevice between the photo frame. What's this? Lin Sen stared at the disk for a long time. The disk was very clean. There was not the slightest information left on it. Perhaps I need to play the contents of this disk. Lin Sen recalled that there was an abandoned CD player in the ancestral house. It works. Lin Sen tried pressing the switch and the CD player lit up. After so many years, although this area has been abandoned, it still has electricity. Lin Sen was a little surprised. He did not delve deeper into this issue. Instead, he inserted the strange disk into the machine and pressed the switch. Suddenly, a green light appeared and covered the entire room. Shit! Lin Sen sensed that something was wrong. At this moment, he realized that he had arrived at a strange place. This void was like space. Lin Sen was floating. There was no distinction between up, down, left, and right here. At the same time, countless green bubbles floated in this space. Lin Sen approached a bubble. Is this? Through the bubble, Lin Sen saw a towering tree taking root in the chaos. The earth, water, wind, and fire around the tree were fixed, forming a continent. The legendary world tree that reconstructs earth, water, wind, and fire and opens up a new world. Lin Sen suppressed the excitement in his heart and looked at another bubble beside him. The bubble was still filled with plants, but it was not as shocking as the world tree. A giant mushroom. In Lin Sen's eyes, there was a huge mushroom standing on the ground in the bubble. Suddenly, the mushroom exploded and the entire star exploded. Hiss, this is really a real mushroom bomb. Lin Sen gulped and looked at a bubble in front of him. Is this the legendary S-grade plant, 9-leaf sword grass? In the bubble, the 9-leaf sword grass slashed across, cutting the star in half. Slash the stars. This is the power of the pinnacle of the plant type. As Lin Sen watched, he seemed to understand that the countless bubbles in this space were all the outcome after various plants had grown to great maturity. So the plant type can be so powerful. Lin Sen's heart was surging. Looks like the plant type has a bright future. In a daze, everything in front of him became fainter and fainter. Lin Sen came back to his senses and realized that he had appeared in another place. This was a ground that was only a few square meters in size. The ground was covered in green grass. Isn't this my lordship core? Only then did Lin Sen realize that he had arrived in the Lord's world in his body. Wait, what's on the ground? Lin Sen found a thumb-sized green seed lying on the ground. The moment Lin Sen's hand touched the seed, a message was sent. This is the seed of amplification. It can increase my plants by 10,000 times. Once again, waves of shock rose within Lin Sen's heart. His father, who had disappeared after stepping onto the battlefield of 10,000 races, had actually left behind such a heaven-defying thing. From the looks of it, I'm afraid that the matter behind my father, who was never heard from again after he went to the battlefield of 10,000 races, isn't that simple. After a short moment of surprise, Lin Sen began to calmly analyze it. No matter what, having this seed of amplification can solve the problem of the slow development cycle of the plant type. My mother and I can also use this to change our lives. With 10,000 times amplification, next, Lin Sen wanted to test the effect of the seed of amplification and see how powerful it was. But in the blink of an eye, he realized that he had left the territorial world in his body and returned to reality. Only then did Lin Sen realize that he was still in the ancestral house, staring blankly at the CD player in front of him. Seed of amplification. Lin Sen looked at his hand. The seed of amplification was gone? Could it be the territorial world hidden in my body? Lin Sen's consciousness sank into the territorial world in his body. He searched for a long time in that piece of land, but he still couldn't find the thumb-sized seed of amplification seed. What's going on? Could it be that all of this is just an illusion? Lin Sen was a little disappointed. He originally thought that he would start a different life after obtaining the amplification left behind by his father. But in the end, all of this was just an illusion? If it were anyone else, they would probably have collapsed. However, Lin Sen had lived 2 lives. He quickly stabilized his mind. Forget it. It's my fortune to have it, but it's my fate to lose it. Thinking of this, Lin Sen suddenly felt enlightened. Then, Lin Sen decided to go to the school. Let's collect the free resources from the school first. Lin Sen remembered that the school had prepared initial resources for every feudal lord student. As long as they awakened their abilities and became lords, they could go and collect a certain amount of resources. This resource is my last hope of making a comeback. When Lin Sen arrived at the school had already ended. There were not many students in sight. When Lin Sen arrived at a special building according to his memory, a teacher exclaimed in surprise when he saw Senior Lin Sen. Are you preparing to receive the initial resources? Does this mean that you've already made up your mind to take the path of the plant lord? The tall and thin-looking teacher in front of him had once taught Lin Sen a relevant culture class. He had a deep impression of Lin Senator. Now that Lin Sen was here, he immediately guessed Lin Sen's purpose. Lin Sen nodded without saying anything. Seeing Lin Sen's determined expression, the mentor wanted to say a lot of things, but in the end, they all turned into a deep sigh. Forget it. You're already an adult. You're no longer a child. From now on, you have to take responsibility for all your decisions. After the mentor finished speaking, he waved at Lin Sen, indicating that Lin Sen should follow him. Not long after, Lin Sen entered the special building. This place seemed to be filled with all kinds of shelves, like the bookshelves in a library. But instead of books, there were all kinds of boxes on the shelves here. The teacher retrieved 2 boxes from the shelves. as you will be taking the path of a plant lord. According to the rules, you can receive 3 plant seeds from the academy. However, there are conditions. Currently, you can only receive 1 seed. If you can successfully nurture that seed within a week, you can receive the remaining 2 seeds. Lin Sen was not surprised by his teacher's explanation. If he could successfully nurture the seed within a week, it meant that Lin Sen still had potential. The school would definitely support him greatly, so what was the harm in giving him 2 more seeds? If Lin Sen failed to nurture the seed within a week, it meant that he had no potential. It was already very good that the school could give him a seed for free. As for the remaining 2 seeds, naturally they would not continue to waste them on a student with no potential. Now, choose one of these 2 seeds. The teacher opened the 2 boxes, which contained 2 seeds. There are 2 types of initial plants for plant lords. One is the blade grass, which is the main attack, and the other is the nut wall, which is the main defense. At this point, the teacher did not continue. He was afraid that his words would affect Lin Sen's decision. On Lin Sen's side, he was also in a dilemma. Should he choose the main attack route or the main defense route? While Lin Sen was in a dilemma, the scene of various plants growing to their peak in the bizarre space appeared in his mind. At this moment, Lin Sen yearned for those powerful plants. Teacher, I choose the blade grass. At this moment, the image of the sword grass that had slashed the stars was still lingering in Lin Sen's mind. The teacher nodded and handed the blade grass seed to Lin Senior. This is an F-grade plant seed of the blade grass. I hope student Lin Sen can walk an extraordinary path. Lin Sen looked at the blade grass seed and was a little excited. This was his first plant seed after becoming a plant lord. To him, it had extraordinary significance. Although it's only F-grade, one day, we will create a legend that belongs to us. Lin Sen was not disappointed because this was the lowest F-grade plant seed. Instead, he was filled with hope and thought that this was an important step in his life. Seeing Lin Sen's attitude, the teacher was very optimistic. Not bad. Student Lin Sen's mentality is very good. Although the potential of plants is divided into F-grade to SSS grade, and this is only the lowest. F-grade, a 10,000-foot high building starts from the ground. After this F-grade blade grass is cultivated to grade 99, it will also have incomparably powerful strengths. Because of Lin Sen's mentality, the teacher thought highly of Lin Sen and helped him think. In the current world, plants were divided into grades 1 to 99. The higher the grades, the stronger the combat power of the plants. Even if it was a F-grade with the lowest potential, as long as it reached grade 99, it would still have extraordinary combat strengths. If Lin Sen had the grade 99 blade grass, it would be enough for him to live a good life for the rest of his life. At the same time, the potential of plants was divided into F to SSS grades. If 2 plants were both grade 10, but one had F-grade potential while the other had SSS grade potential, the SSS grade plant would definitely beat the F-grade plant. Lin Sen recalled the relevant knowledge in his heart. At this moment, the blade grass seed was already in his hand. What Lin Sen needed to do next was to plant the seed in his inner world and nurture it. When Lin Sen planted the blade grass seed in his body, he realized that there was a strange power in his body. That familiar feeling could not be wrong. It's the power of the seed of amplification. Lin Sen found green energy surrounding the blade grass. A stream of information surged into Lin Sen's mind, allowing him to understand the current situation. In the amplification, it detected a plant in my body, so it activated the 10,000-fold amplification. However, I need to manually select the specific items for the 10,000-fold amplification. Quantity, potential, grade, growth speed. Lin Sen was faced with a choice, but at this moment, he recalled the terrifying sword grass that had grown to its peak in his memory. If it increases the potential of the blade grass, will it? Thinking of this, Lin Sen decided to increase the potential of the blade grass by 10,000 times. The moment Lin Sen made his choice, the small blade grass seed in his inner world absorbed countless amounts of green energy and grew wildly from a tiny seed at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the territorial world in Lin Sen's body expanded from a small space of a few square meters to the size of a basketball court. A blade-like grass plant was rooted in his world. This is an S-grade plant, 9-leaf sword grass. It can shoot powerful sword chi from 9 directions. Just as Lin Sen finished sighing with emotion, the 9-leaf sword grass began to sway as if it was fluttering in the wind. Then, sword chi shot out from the 9-leaf sword grass. Terrifying sword chi enveloped Lin Sen's entire territory. Lin Sen's territorial world was centered around the 9-leaf sword grass, and terrifying sword chi spread out in all directions. Cracks that were half a meter deep appeared. It looked like Lin Sen's territorial world was about to shatter. For a time, sword chi crisscrossed and dust filled the air. This is only a grade 1 9-leaf sword grass. If it's a grade 99 9-leaf sword grass, can it destroy the world? As the 9 sword chi burst out, the swooshing sound of the sword chi gradually disappeared. As the dust settled, Lin Sen could finally see clearly. 9 cracks half a meter deep divided his territory into pieces like a cake. In reality, Lin Sen opened his eyes. His face was filled with shock and ecstasy. Not far away, when the teacher saw Lin Sen's appearance, he realized that something had happened. Before the teacher could ask, Lin Sen took the initiative to speak. "Teacher, I've successfully nurtured it." When Lin Sen said this, the teacher's expression underwent a very interesting change. At first, he was puzzled. He didn't seem to understand what Lin Sen meant. It had only been a few minutes since the teacher handed the seed to Lin Senator. How could someone successfully nurture it in such a short period of time? Therefore, the moment he heard Lin Sen's words, the teacher was puzzled. He could not understand what Lin Sen was saying. But then, after the teacher carefully savored the meaning of what Lin Sen had just said, he suddenly came to a shocking realization. "What? You've successfully nurtured the seed." The teacher's expression was very interesting. He was so excited that his body was trembling slightly. "Don't move, I'll check." The teacher patted Lin Sen's back and a special power surged in. Suddenly, green light surrounded Lin Sen's body. What a vigorous life force is this? The teacher was so surprised that his voice trembled. Others might not know, but he knew very well. Lin Sen had just awakened his ability today and had just obtained his first plant. Under such circumstances, Lin Sen's body actually burst with incomparably vigorous vitality. This was enough to prove that the plant that Lin Sen was nurturing had extraordinary potential. So, what exactly happened to the blade grass with F-grade potential? The teacher took a few deep breaths and tried to calm himself down. As for the origin of the vigorous vitality in Lin Sen's body, the teacher did not ask further. Everyone has their own secrets. I won't pursue this matter. But you have to pay more attention in the future. Although the teacher did not say it explicitly, the hint was obvious. Lin Sen nodded, feeling somewhat moved. Actually, he did not have a deep impression of this teacher. He had only taught him a few cultural classes. However, the other party still dutifully reminded Lin Sen to pay attention to these aspects. Everyone thought that you would most likely disappear into the crowd in the future. However, it seems like you might have chosen the right path. The teacher was inwardly overwhelmed with emotion. Then, the teacher fulfilled his previous promise and gave Lin Sen 2 more plant seeds. "Since you've reached the standard, the area behind me will be open for you. This is the area for plant-type seeds. There are all kinds of plant seeds here, but you can only choose 2. Lin Sen nodded and thanked the teacher. Then, Lin Sen stepped into the area. On each shelf, there were countless boxes. Each box had a label on it with the corresponding plant seed name on it. Vine, herb, wood, fungus. Lin Sen walked around the plant type area for half a day, feeling dizzy. Plant type was only a large category. There were also countless subcategories. Among the countless plant seeds, Lin Sen could only choose 2. The highest is only B grade. That's true. Plants above A grade are very rare. Even if the school has them, they won't give them to us easily. After a simple tour, Lin Sen discovered that the potential of these plant seeds ranged from F grade to B grade. But there were no A grade or S grade seeds which were above B grade. Among the plant seeds with B grade potential, Lin Sen had his eyes on a certain plant seed. B grade plant seeds, potato mines. Lin Sen had a deep impression of the potato mine plant. Although it was only a B grade, it could unleash the power of an A grade or even a S grade. However, the price of such power was that the potato mine was equivalent to a single-use item. After painstakingly nurturing it, it would eventually explode and perish with the enemy. If he blew up one, he would lose one. The disadvantage of potato mines is that there are too few of them. Every time one is used, there will be one less. However, I have a 10,000-fold increase. Perhaps I can increase the number of potato mines. At that time, I'll have 10,000 potato mines and set up a landmine formation. Who would dare to break through? Thinking of this, Lin Sen's heart surged. The ultimate goal of a potato mines was to perish together with the enemy. In exchange, potato mines gain tenacious vitality. It would not take long for a potato mine to grow. As he pondered, Lin Sen finally chose the potato mine seed with B-grade potential. Then, Lin Sen continued to search for the last seed. The presence of potato mines allows me to lay down safe defensive measures. The existence of the 9-leaf sword grass gives me a powerful active output ability. I can attack and defend. Thinking of this, Lin Sen felt that his configuration was already very good. He did not know how to choose the third seed. At this moment, Lin Sen saw 2 students coming out of the alien beast area next door. The 2 students should be the alien beast type lords. They were discussing choosing an alien beast egg with very high agility as the initial alien beast. Hearing this, Lin Sen realized a problem. Although the damage output of the 9-leaf sword grass is very strong, the prerequisite is that the enemy won't dodge. If the enemy has very high agility and can directly dodge it, it will be very difficult for the 9-leaf sword grass to deal it with damage. Thinking of this, Lin Sen had an idea about the choice of his third seed. This third seed can provide an environment for the output of the 9-leaf sword grass. Therefore, Lin Sen quickly chose the third seed. D-grade plant seed, parasitic thorn. It has the ability to entangle and absorb. It can entangle the enemy and absorb their life force. At the same time, it can be parasitic. From the initial thorny vine, it continuously evolved into countless vines. Lin Sen had also carefully selected a plant seed like the parasitic thorn. The parasitic thorn will entangle the enemy and immobilize them. The 9-leaf sword grass will steadily deal it with damage. It's a good combination. Moreover, the most terrifying thing about the parasitic thorn is that it keeps spreading, turning from one vine to countless vines. What I lack is time. If I use the 10,000-fold increase in growth speed on the parasitic thorn, won't I be able to perfectly make up for this shortcoming? After choosing the other 2 plants, Lin Sen found a teacher to register them. The teacher instructed Lin Sr. Since you've already chosen the combination of these plants, it means that you're almost done preparing. Once you're ready, you can challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment. Challenging the Mystic Realm Fragment is the main source of resources for new lords like you. On one hand, this teacher had a good impression of Lin Senator. On the other hand, he knew Lin Sen's potential. After all, under his watch, the plant seed was successfully nurtured in a few minutes. This potential was not simple. Therefore, this teacher thought highly of Lin Sen and told him a lot. Fragment Mystic Realm. Lin Sen was a little puzzled. He knew about the Mystic Realm. In this world, every lord had a territory in their bodies. These territories existed in the bodies of lords and were private territory. There was another kind of territorial space that was naturally formed and existed in alternate spaces. This kind of space was a masterless thing. It was considered a public territory, and it was a mystic realm. There were also some powerful lords whose inner world became masterless after they died. It was also a kind of mystic realm. However, this was the first time Lin Sen had heard the term Mystic Realm Fragment. Teacher, please enlighten me. Lin Sen asked his teacher sincerely. The teacher smiled and answered Lin Sen's question. The so-called Mystic Realm Fragments refer to those territorial spaces where the Mystic Realm was artificially cut and used to train students. The teacher told Lin Sen that every student who successfully awakened would receive information about the Mystic Realm Fragment. After Lin Sen awakened the Plant Lord ability, he was in a hurry to go home, so he missed the relevant information. Small Mystic Realm Fragments, Medium Mystic Realm Fragments, and Large Mystic Realm Fragments. As long as you can obtain a good evaluation after clearing the Mystic Realm, you can obtain different rewards and exchange them for the corresponding Lord skills. Obtain rewards? Exchanging for Lord skills? When Lin Sen heard this, his breathing quickened. Although exchanging for Lord skills was not bad, what Lin Sen cared about the most was obtaining various rewards. According to the teacher, the evaluation after clearing the Mystic Realm Fragment was divided into several grades: excellent, good, medium, and poor. It would be calculated based on the size of the Mystic Realm Fragment and the evaluation. The bigger the fragment, the higher the evaluation, and the better the experience. For example, obtaining an excellent evaluation from challenging a small mystic realm fragment, compared to obtaining an excellent evaluation from challenging a medium mystic realm fragment, the latter would definitely yield more rewards. Lin Sen's idea was to obtain some rewards for clearing the mystic realm fragment to provide for his family and improve their lives. Actually, the real great opportunities are in those mystic realms. Some mystic realms are naturally formed and contain countless natural treasures. Some mystic realms are where powerful lords fall and their territories become mystic realms that contain countless opportunities. At this point, the teacher also yearned for those mystic realms. Lin Sen knew about this information. Back in class, Lin Sen had a deep impression of the legendary Eternal Kingdom mystic realm. It was said that it was a strange world. The residents there would not be hungry, thirsty, or tired. They did not even talk about birth, aging, illness, and death. Everything was eternal. The reason for all of this was because the Eternal Kingdom mystic realm had evolved from the territory of a terrifying lord. The ability that the lord awakened was related to time. The territory world in his body formed an eternal kingdom. After his death, the Eternal Kingdom floated in another dimension and became a mystic realm. Then, the teacher explained some of the differences between a mystic realm and a mystic realm fragment to Lin Sr. When you were still students. Everything you obtained from entering the mystic realm fragment had to be handed over to the school in the end. According to the value of the items you obtained from the mystic realm fragment, they will be converted into corresponding points. If you go to the mystic realm, everything you obtain will be what you really have. The teacher told Lin Sen a very important issue. Everything obtained from the mystic realm fragment had to be handed over to the school in the end. Then, the school would distribute the corresponding points to the student according to the value of the item. These points could be exchanged for some things at the school. The academy is still small scale. To obtain true benefits, one would still have to challenge the mystic realm in the end. At this moment, the teacher's words changed. Although the mystic realm is dangerous, great opportunities represent great danger. Opportunity and risk coexist. For students like you, the mystic realm is still too dangerous. Lin Sen agreed with his teacher's words. The mystic realm contained countless opportunities and treasures. Although it was risky, this was the method Lin Sen thought of that could solve his family's problems quickly. Perhaps I can continuously increase my strength by challenging the mystic realm fragment. I'll challenge the mystic realm when I'm strong enough. At that time, when I return with the treasures and opportunities of the mystic realm, not only can I solve the problem of my mother not having enough money to treat her illness, I can also bring my mother out of this family and let her enjoy life. Lin Sen clenched his fists and made a decision. Lin Sen made a plan in his heart. If he only relied on the school's mystic realm fragment, it would be very difficult to achieve his goal. Therefore, he had to find a way to increase his strength and explore the mystic realm. Teacher, I've decided. I want to challenge the mystic realm fragment. When Lin Sen made this request, the teacher was a little confused. Kid, are you serious? You have to know that you have just nurtured a successful plant seed. Don't you need to go back and rest? Because the teacher thought highly of Lin Sen, he tried to persuade him. He was afraid that Lin Sen would be defeated by the encounter in Mystic Realm Fragment because of his poor preparation. On Lin Sen's side, he was very determined to challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment. Teacher, I've already made up my mind. I have a reason to challenge the Mystic Realm. I want to change my current situation in a short period of time. At this point, the teacher recalled some information he knew about Lin Sen's family. For a moment, the teacher seemed to understand why Lin Sen was in a hurry to challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment. To new lords like Lin Sen, perhaps challenging the Mystic Realm Fragment was the most direct way for them to quickly grow and change their lives. Since you've already made your decision, I won't persuade you anymore. Prepare to face the first Mystic Realm Fragment. Lin Sen followed his teacher deeper into the building. After crossing the area where the initial resources were placed, the deeper area was the entrance to the Mystic Realm Fragment. At this moment, the passage ahead was blocked by a wooden table. Two gray-haired elders were drinking tea and playing chess. These two old men and the wooden table had already blocked the way. In the face of the two old men occupying the road, the teacher who led Lin Sen here did not have the slightest complaint. Instead, he greeted the two old men respectfully. Elder Zhao, Elder Hua, can you make an exception and let this student challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment? Lin Sen watched silently from the side. At first, he was a little surprised. Was there a need to make an exception to challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment? Not all students were qualified to challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment, but soon, an old man with white hair spoke, and Lin Sen understood the reason. The old man held a chess piece in one hand and looked at Lin Sen curiously. According to the Academy's rules, the challenge of the Mystic Realm Fragment should stop at this time. Other than the students who have already stepped into the Mystic Realm Fragment and have yet to come out, the other students are not allowed to challenge the Mystic Realm Fragment again. Ren Chang'e, this student is actually worthy of your pleading. Looks like he's not ordinary. Ren Chang'e, the teacher who thought highly of Lin Sen, smiled awkwardly and did not explain further. Lin Sen knew that teacher Ren was protecting him. He was afraid that if he spoke too much, he would slip up and be pursued by layers of clues which would discover Lin Sen's abnormality. Forget it. Since you're the one who asked us to make an exception, what's wrong with us making an exception? The old man just now seemed to be easy to talk to. He was full of smiles. The other old man stroked his white beard and looked at teacher Ren thoughtfully. He was slightly surprised and said, thinking about it carefully, this seems to be the first time you've been so concerned about a student since you retired from the battlefield of 10,000 races. I'm full of anticipation. The two old men looked at Lin Senator. This made Lin Sen feel uncomfortable, as if all his secrets had been seen through. Kid, come with me. One of the elders stood up and made way for him. Lin Sen followed. After taking a few steps, he found all kinds of circled formations on the ground further down. Let me see. Since this is your first challenge, how about I arrange a small Mystic Realm Fragment for you? I'll abide by Elder Hua's arrangements. Lin Sen's attitude was to adhere to the other party's arrangements without any complaints. Under Elder Hua's arrangement, Lin Sen came to a formation. This looked like a special formation that he had seen during the awakening ceremony. Kid, remember that you will be teleported to the alternate space where the small Mystic Realm Fragment is. As for what kind of Mystic Realm Fragment it is, I don't know because it's random. With Elder Hua's explanation, Lin Sen gradually understood the process of challenging the Mystic Realm Fragment. There were many Mystic Realm Fragments. Small, medium, large. For the same formation, if the same student stepped in, he would be transported to different Mystic Realms. Therefore, Elder Hua did not know what kind of Mystic Realm Fragment Lin Sen would be facing later. Don't worry, the small Mystic Realm Fragments are basically safe. As Elder Hua's voice fell, the formation in front of him emitted a dazzling light. Lin Sen only closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, he saw another space. This is the Martial Arts Hall Mystic Realm Fragment. I need to defeat the creatures in the Martial Hall within a certain period of time. The moment Lin Sen entered the Mystic Realm Fragment, relevant information surged into his mind. At this moment, Lin Sen began to observe his surroundings. Just like the name of the Mystic Realm Fragment, this was a martial arts hall the size of a basketball court. Looking out, it was all spatial turbulence. Strictly speaking, the martial arts hall that could be seen now is only one of the fragments of the real martial arts hall. Lin Sen observed the situation in the martial arts hall, and gradually came to a conclusion. This martial arts hall should have been very big, but it had been cut up by someone. The current basketball court size area should have been obtained after being cut. Some traces could be seen from the fringes of the martial arts hall. Are these the enemies I have to defeat? Lin Sen looked at the creatures in the martial arts hall. Scarecrows? No wonder Elder Hua said that this small Mystic Realm Fragment is very safe. Lin Sen stood in front of the scarecrows. The scarecrows would not take the initiative to attack. It seemed that as long as Lin Sen did not provoke the scarecrows, they would not attack Lin Senior. Let's try a scarecrow first. Lin Sen rubbed his fists and tried to attack a scarecrow. With a bang, Lin Sen's expression changed drastically. He felt as if his punch had hit a rock, making his scalp tingle. The scarecrow that was attacked in front of him moved. Shit. Lin Sen immediately pulled away from the other party. From the scarecrow's rock-hard outer shell, what would happen if the other party punched him? Just when Lin Sen was worried, he realized that after he pulled away from the scarecrow seemed to have lost its hatred and returned to its previous appearance. It stood there motionless. No wonder Elder Hua said that the small Mystic Realm Fragment is very safe. Even if you take the initiative to infuriate the enemy, as long as you distance yourself, you can get rid of the hatred. As expected of a Mystic Realm fragment prepared to take care of the novice lord. After Lin Sen gathered a lot of information about the enemy, he began to get serious. It's your turn to make an appearance, 9-leaf sword grass. With a thought from Lin Sen, the 9-leaf sword grass in his territorial world began to sway as a terrifying sword chi filled the air. In the martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment, sword chi surrounded Lin Senator under Lin Sen's control. Countless sword chi gathered at the center of the martial arts hall. Gradually, the sword chi condensed into a grass plant that was like a long sword. This position was carefully chosen by Lin Senator previously. Lin Sen had roughly estimated the size of this martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment. It was about the size of his internal territorial world. The attack range of the 9-leaf sword grass in the center of his internal territorial area just happened to cover this territory. In other words, as long as the 9-leaf sword grass was planted in the center of the martial arts hall, all the scarecrows in the martial arts hall would be within the attack range of the 9-leaf sword grass. Sword chi burst forth. Accompanied by Lin Sen's low shout, the 9-leaf sword grass in the center of the martial arts hall swayed slightly, as if it was gathering momentum. A second later, 9 terrifying sword chi burst out in all directions. Swish, 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 swish. Cracks appeared on the ground. As for the scarecrows along the way, they were either chopped in half or cut into 2 like Chinese chives. The first round of sword chi burst forth. Although many scarecrows were killed, there were still many scarecrows that had not been hit. At this moment, these scarecrows awakened from their motionless state and converged towards the 9-leaf sword grass, as if they wanted to attack it. However, at this moment, the second wave of sword chi from the 9-leaf sword grass burst forth. Swish, 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 swish. Countless scarecrows fell to the ground, and the ground was filled with scarecrow corpses. Congratulations to Lord Lin Sen for completing the challenge. Level, low level 7-star Lord. Time spent, 1 minute and 10 seconds. Obtained 10,000 points. Lin Sen looked at the sky. A ranking appeared there. It was a record left behind by all the lords who challenged this martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment. Only the top 10 names and records were displayed on the rankings. At this moment, Lin Sen was ranked first. Second place is Yazaiwan. At that time, she was a low-level 9-star lord. She used 5 minutes and 25 seconds to obtain 5,000 points. Lin Sen looked at the second place. It was none other than Yazaiwan, who was in the limelight in the academy. At the same time, she was also the dream girl of countless boys in the academy. I accidentally broke her record. She shouldn't be angry, right? Lin Sen thought of the girl with an aloof temperament. Every frown and smile of hers appeared in his mind. The other party would definitely not be angry because Lin Sen had broken her record. She would most likely be happy because of Lin Sen's improvement. As he thought about it, the scene in front of him changed. Lin Sen realized that he had returned to the formation. Kid, have you come out so quickly? Could it be that you were defeated by the monsters of the Mystic Realm fragment? That shouldn't be the case. It's impossible for such a situation to happen in a small Mystic Realm fragment. Elder Hua and Elder Zhao's eyes widened. They came to inspect the formation as if they wanted to observe the situation of the Mystic Realm fragment through the formation. But at this moment, Teacher Ren seemed to have discovered something. Lin Sen, you broke the record for the martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment. Teacher Ren noticed the changes in the rankings of the various Mystic Realm fragments in the Academy's system, so he went up to check. Sure enough, he found Lin Sen's name. He actually got a superb evaluation. Teacher Ren was still relatively calm at this moment. He subconsciously thought that it was an excellent evaluation. But soon, he could no longer remain calm. Used 1 minute and 10 seconds. Superb. Superb evaluation. Teacher Ren was so surprised that he could not hide it. This voice also attracted the attention of Elder Hua and Elder Zhao. The 2 old men also checked the Academy's Mystic Realm fragment system and found Lin Sen's name. Generally speaking, the evaluation for clearing the Mystic Realm fragment only had the ratings excellent, good, medium, and poor. A superb evaluation was very rare. At least in the entire Academy's Mystic Realm fragment records, there had never been a superb evaluation before. For a moment, Teacher Ren, Elder Hua, and Elder Zhao looked at Lin Sen with fiery eyes. Kid, you're good. I didn't expect a dark horse like you to appear among this batch of novice Lord students. Elder Zhao patted Lin Sen's shoulder hard. He was very excited. As for Lin Sen, his mind was completely focused on the 10,000 points he had obtained. Elder Zhao, may I ask if the points are exchanged here? Lin Sen did not know what the points could be exchanged for. If he could exchange them for some valuable things and sell them, perhaps he could improve his family's life. Before Elder Zhao could say anything, Elder Hua came over enthusiastically. Kid, do you want to exchange them for something? Currently, the things that can be exchanged are the ones that need to be unlocked. Elder Zhao told Lin Sen that there were many things that the points could be exchanged for in the academy. However, they would have to be unlocked according to the different mystic realm fragments that the students had cleared. For example, Lin Sen had cleared a small mystic realm fragment, so he could only exchange for very few things. More things could only be unlocked by clearing medium and large mystic realm fragments. In the end, Lin Sen used his points to exchange for some soldier grain pills, first aid kits, energy crystals, and other supplies from Elder Zhao and Elder Hua. Soldier grain pills were for eating. The small mystic realm fragment was still alright. It could be broken through in an hour or two at the latest. However, for medium and large mystic realm fragments, it was like exploring another unknown continent. It would be impossible without sufficient supplies. The first aid kits required no further mention. The energy crystals were used by Lin Sen to recover his energy. This energy was used to activate the plants in his body, nurture the plants, and activate plant skills. Kid, this is your reward. Elder Hua gave Teacher Ren some instructions for a while, and Teacher Ren went to fetch a box. The box was opened. It was something that looked like a book, and it was engraved with dense mysterious symbols. Advanced Skill Book Rapid Planting. It should suit you. Elder Hua smiled and introduced the skill book. After Lin Sen reached out and touched the book, special information surged into his mind. He had mastered a skill called Rapid Planting. Rapid planting can allow quick planting and change the location of the plants after planting. Lin Sen muttered the function of this ability. At the same time, Lin Sen recalled that he had spent a lot of time planting the 9-leaf sword grass when he was challenging the martial arts hall mystic realm fragment. From the sword chi emitted by the 9-leaf sword grass in his body, to the sword chi surrounding his body, to the sword chi gathering in the distance to form the 9-leaf sword grass. This process was a little long. Now, with this skill, Lin Sen could plant the 9-leaf sword grass in an instant. This efficiency had increased countless times. As for changing the planting location, Lin Sen knew that the plant lord's flaw was the lack of agility. The enemy was alive and could move, but plants were mostly immobile. If Lin Sen planted the 9-leaf sword grass in one place, it would be difficult to move it to another place. But with the rapid planting skill, this problem was perfectly resolved. This way, my landmine formation will not be so rigid. Lin Sen remembered that he still had a killing move, the landmine formation. In the past, the landmine formation required potato mines to be planted one by one. This undoubtedly required a lot of time. He needed to leave enough time to prepare and plant in advance. Then, he worked hard to plant them and set up the landmine formation. However, for various reasons, the enemy did not take the path where Lin Sen laid the landmines. Wouldn't Lin Sen's efforts be in vain then? He spent the entire morning setting up landmines in the direction to the east, waiting for the enemy to come and die. In the end, the enemy came from the south. At this time, Lin Sen looked like a clown. However, with the rapid planting skill, Lin Sen realized that the enemy did not go east but south. He could directly move the potato mine to the south. While Lin Sen was fantasizing, Teacher Ren reminded him, Lin Sen, your reward should have been something else, but Elder Hua used a bit of his authority to change the reward to rapid planting, which suits you the most. With Teacher Ren's reminder, Lin Sen realized that the two old men had tampered with it. Otherwise, the reward would not be so coincidentally the most suitable rapid planting for him. Lin Sen thanks the two elders. Lin Sen was truly grateful. Whether it was Teacher Ren or the two elders, the help these people gave him saved him a lot of detours on the path of the Plant Lord, allowing him to develop quickly. Alright, go back and rest well. Don't be too arrogant. Although your results are considered very outstanding in the academy, in the entire world, there will definitely be better results than yours. In fact, Elder Zhao didn't know if anyone could break Lin Sen's record. He said this mainly because he was afraid that Lin Sen would be arrogant. As for Lin Sen, he hesitated for a moment before finally speaking. To Elder Zhao, Senior, I wish to continue challenging the Mystic Realm Fragment. Please permit. Lin Sen knew that at this time, according to the school's rules, challenges were not allowed. He had to wait until the next day. That was why he begged the two elders. After all, they were specialized in guarding the Mystic Realm Fragments. Facing Lin Sen's request, Elder Zhao and Elder Hua looked at each other and finally nodded. Logically, we shouldn't have made an exception for you. However, the Academy can make an exception for talented students with potential. The meaning of the two elders was obvious. Rules were dead, but people were living. These rules and regulations were only used to restrain most students. For those students with talent and potential, the school could change some rules for them. We're both looking forward to your performance. Elder Hua walked forward and observed the vast ground behind him that was like a small indoor square. Countless formations were spinning. Then, Elder Hua looked a little worried. Kid, all the medium mystic realm fragments in the academy have been taken. After Lin Sen challenged the small mystic realm fragment, he wanted to challenge the medium mystic realm fragment. Then, he would challenge the large mystic realm fragment and steadily increase his strength step by step. However, Elder Hua told Lin Sen that all the medium mystic realm fragments had been taken. Then, why don't you let me try a large mystic realm fragment? As Lin Sen spoke, he was eager to try. According to the school's rules, one had to take it one step at a time to clear the mystic realm fragment. After clearing the small mystic realm fragment, he could then clear the medium one. Lastly, he could clear the large mystic realm fragment. However, the two elders had said that the school could change the rules for students with potential and talent. Therefore, Lin Sen wanted to give it a try. He wanted to see if he could skip the middle mystic realm fragment and directly challenge the large mystic realm fragment. Elder Hua and Elder Zhao looked at each other again, feeling a little troubled. But in the end, the two old men made up their minds. Based on the potential you've displayed, you can indeed try to challenge that large mystic realm fragment. Then, Elder Hua went to check the formations to see if there were any large mystic realm fragments that were empty. Unlike the random selection of small mystic realm fragments, when it came to the medium and large mystic realm fragments, one could take the initiative to choose. Under Lin Sen's anticipation, not long after, Elder Hua returned with a strange expression. Kid, the other large mystic realm fragments are all occupied. Lin Sen, although he was a little speechless, Lin Sen thought about it briefly and understood. It was already after school. Before school ended, the corresponding mystic realms would probably be occupied by the students. He was late. Lin Sen thought that he would have to wait until the next day. Just as he was about to leave, Elder Hua hesitated. But in the end, he still said it. There's only one mystic realm fragment left. There was still one mystic realm fragment left? Lin Sen's heart was suddenly ignited with hope. However, looking at Elder Hua's expression, Lin Sen knew that the situation might not be as simple as he had imagined. As expected, Elder Hua spoke out at this time and explained. Currently, the only large mystic realm fragment left is the Wild Beasts Cave mystic realm fragment. It is also publicly acknowledged by the Academy as the most difficult of the large mystic realm fragments. Generally speaking, the difficulty of a large mystic realm fragment is not low. It requires a two-person team to be able to do this. Elder Hua explained the relevant difficulty to Lin Senator. The small mystic realm fragment was very simple and safe. Just like the martial arts hall mystic realm fragment that Lin Sen had broken through, as long as he did not take the initiative to attack the scarecrows would not attack Lin Senator at the same time. Even if Lin Sen attacked the scarecrows, as long as he kept a certain distance, he could get rid of the hatred. It could be said that as long as one did not deliberately court death, it was very difficult to be injured in a small mystic realm fragment. This was why small mystic realm fragments were random. This was because no matter how random it was, one would basically not be injured in a small mystic realm fragment. As for the medium mystic realm fragments, there was a certain level of difficulty from here. Students could choose the corresponding mystic realm fragments according to their strength and ability to restrain themselves, etc. As for large mystic realm fragments, the difficulty was extraordinary. When it came to small and medium mystic realm fragments, they were all broken through alone. However, when it came to large mystic realm fragments, 2 people had to form a team. Lin Sen was puzzled. At this time, how could there be other students coming to challenge the mystic realms? Even if there was, the 2 old men would not allow it. So, he could only go solo? He just did not know if the 2 old men would allow him to go alone. Just as Lin Sen was about to ask Elder Hua and Elder Zhao if he could apply to challenge the large mystic realm fragment alone, a beautiful figure appeared at the entrance. Elder Hua, Elder Zhao, you guys are? The familiar voice was as pleasant as a silver bell, making people feel indescribably comfortable. Lin Sen, you're here too. Could it be? The girl's long black hair was loose, and she was dressed in a black outfit. With the dim light, she looked like a princess in the night. Yeah, Yazaiwan. Lin Sen did not expect Yazaiwan to appear here. Elder Hua and Elder Zhao seemed not surprised by Yazaiwan's appearance. After they saw Yazaiwan, they asked very skillfully, Zaiwan, you just came back from challenging a medium mystic realm fragment. Are you going to challenge a large mystic realm fragment now? Yazaiwan nodded. She came to Lin Sen's side and smiled sweetly. Lin Sen, why are you here so late at night? Could it be? Yazaiwan did not continue. Instead, she winked at Lin Sen and hinted crazily. In fact, Yazaiwan's meaning was very clear. At this time, other than the students who came out from challenging the mystic realm fragments, there were only those who had potential and were not bound by the school rules. On Lin Sen's side, he responded, I was lucky enough to obtain the approval of Elder Hua and Elder Zhao, so I can challenge the mystic realm fragment outside the time set by the school. At this point, Lin Sen gradually understood why Yazaiwan had appeared here. Among the students in the same year as Lin Sen, Yazaiwan could be said to be the most popular. It was not limited to Lin Sen's batch. The entire school enjoyed unique glory. During the awakening ceremony, the other party had awakened the flying bird lord of the large category of alien beast lords. It could control many flying animals. There was once a flying bird lord who controlled the fire phoenix to burn mountains and lakes, creating an era of calamity. From this, it could be seen that the potential of the flying bird lord's ability was rather terrifying. And Yazaiwan's strength was indeed very terrifying. Ever since Yazaiwan awakened her ability, she had broken the record of several mystic realm fragments. The martial arts hall mystic realm fragment that Lin Sen had broken into previously was only one of the several mystic realm fragments that Yazaiwan had refreshed. And with such a potential, Yazaiwan was definitely a student with potential that the academy paid special attention to. Naturally, she did not have to challenge the mystic realm fragment according to the rules set by the academy. Lin Sen, are you trying to enter the wild beasts cave mystic realm fragment? When Yazaiwan heard Elder Hua and Elder Zhao's mutterings, she frowned and looked at Lin Sen with her beautiful eyes. Yazaiwan's limpid eyes stared at Lin Sen quietly. Although Yazaiwan and Lin Sen were not in the same class, the 2 of them had a lot of interactions. The 2 of them had many similarities. Lin Sen was curious about the rules of this world because he came from another world. He often went to the library to search for relevant information to verify, and so did Yazaiwan. She was also extremely curious about the rules of the world. Back then, when the 2 of them first met in the library, Yazaiwan had told Lin Sen that in other worlds, there were no lords in the more distant foreign lands. The 2 of them, who had just entered the school, started an intense discussion on the topic of why there was a lord in this world. Gradually, the relationship between the 2 of them deepened, from an ordinary passerby to a friend. Lin Sen smiled bitterly at Yazaiwan's question. He also knew that his actions were a little risky, but at the moment, he desperately wanted to prove his strength and obtain all kinds of resources so that he and his mother could obtain a better life. From the looks of it, you really want to challenge the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment alone. But Lin Sen, do you know anything about this mystic realm? There are all kinds of wild beasts inside, especially rats that are extremely fast. Yazaiwan used her soft voice to explain to Lin Sen about the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment. The reason why the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment was so terrifying was mainly because of the word wild. The various beasts in the mystic realm seemed to have gone crazy as they attacked all the intruders in front of them with all their might. It would be fine if it was a lord with other abilities, but Lin Sen's plant lord happened to be restrained by this mystic realm. As everyone knows, the weakness of a plant lord is his lack of mobility. Those frighteningly numerous and incredibly fast rats can easily dodge the attacks of the plants and even rush over to bite off the roots of the plants. At this point, Yazaiwan looked at Lin Sen with a smile. How about that? After knowing this information, do you still dare to challenge the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment alone? At this moment, Yazaiwan had a strange smile on her face. No one could tell what she was thinking. Lin Sen fell silent. He had become a little arrogant just now because he was immersed in the joy of clearing the small Mystic Realm fragment. After listening to Yazaiwan's analysis, he calmed down and realized that his Plant Lord ability seems to be suppressed by the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment. That's not right. Lin Sen suddenly remembered something. Yazaiwan's analysis was right, but he, Lin Sen, was different from ordinary Plant Lords? Lin Sen simulated a battlefield in his mind. In the face of what Yazaiwan had said, there were a terrifying number of rats in the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment, and these rats were extremely fast. Lin Sen thought that he still had a solution. Parasitic thorns. Lin Sen remembered that he had just obtained 2 seeds. Among them, the parasitic thorns could entangle the enemy. Coupled with the 10,000-fold increase in growth speed, he could entangle those rats and make them targets. Even if some rats are too fast and too small to entangle. At this time, there's still the landmine formation as the final defense. Lin Sen pondered. Based on his current configuration, he believed that he could still challenge this Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment. There were the parasitic thorn for control, 9-leaf sword grass for offense, and potato mines for defense. A perfect lineup. Thinking of this, Lin Sen looked at the beautiful woman beside him and then at Elder Hua and Elder Zhao. Finally, Lin Sen said, "I want to give it a try." Lin Sen didn't say much, but this sentence had already expressed his determination. Elder Hua and Elder Zhao frowned deeply. The two of them were actually in a dilemma. On the one hand, they also wanted to see if Lin Sen could challenge the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment alone and create a legend. After all, they had all seen Lin Sen's previous record of clearing the martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment. They recognized Lin Sen's potential and strengths. Perhaps, Lin Sen could really clear the copy of the Wild Beasts Cave? However, on the other hand, as seniors, they did not want to see Lin Sen, a late-stage talent, die midway. What if Lin Sen died in the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment? Wouldn't that be the end of a genius? They wanted to see what kind of miracle Lin Sen could create, but they were afraid that something would happen to him. Unlike the 2 old men who were in a dilemma, Yazaiwan did not know that Lin Sen had broken into the martial arts hall Mystic Realm fragment. Yazaiwan was a little angry when she heard that Lin Sen insisted on challenging the Wild Beasts Cave. Lin Sen, this is not the time to be stubborn. It's not like I haven't analyzed with you before how terrifying the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment is. Think about it. What if something happens to you because of this? What will Auntie do? Yazaiwan also knew about Lin Sen's family situation. In order to persuade Lin Sen, she even mentioned his mother. In Yazaiwan's mind, Lin Sen cared about his mother the most. As long as Lin Sen's mother was mentioned, Lin Sen would compromise and not do such risky things. However, what Yazaiwan did not know was that Lin Sen had already planned everything out in his mind. In the face of the monsters in the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment, Lin Sen had already prepared countermeasures. It could be said that Lin Sen was confident about this trip to the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment. Thank you for your kind intentions, Zaiwan. I've made up my mind. Lin Sen had already made up his mind. No matter what, he had to enter the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment. Faced with Lin Sen's firm attitude, Yazaiwan was a little angry. She was so angry that she stomped her feet and her little face puffed up. However, Yazaiwan rolled her eyes and a smile appeared at the corner of her mouth. Yazaiwan said, "Lin Sen, since you insist on challenging the Wild Beasts Cave Mystic Realm fragment, we naturally can't stop you, but can you bring me along? With my strength, I shouldn't make you despise me, right? Furthermore, with my Lord of Flying Birds ability, if there's any emergency, I can bring you away on a bird creature." Although Zaiwan did not say it explicitly, Lin Sen still understood the meaning behind her words. To put it tactfully, it was those words above. But to put it more bluntly, if Yazaiwan went along, when they encountered danger, she could protect Senator Lin Sen's side in his heart. Yazaiwan was really perfect in all aspects. Even the way she handled things was the same. The other party was afraid that, if she said bluntly that if she went along, she could protect Lin Sen, it would hurt Lin Sen's pride. So she changed to a tactful way of saying it. Since the great school Belia is willing to team up with me to challenge this wild beast's cave mystic realm fragment, how can I refuse? Lin Sen had no choice but to agree to Yazaiwen's request to form a team. Elder Hua and Elder Zhao were overjoyed. Whether it was Yazaiwen or Lin Sen, they were both juniors that they thought highly of. Now that these two people had joined forces, they were also looking forward to their performance. Under the arrangement of Elder Hua and Elder Zhao, Lin Sen and Yazaiwen disappeared on the spot with a ray of light.